Morning, everybody. My name is Joe, and I'm a weapon of mass instruction. And this is my new little pet project. You see, I started reading 1984, and found some interesting stuff. If you go to newspeakdictionary.com, it's actually a really cool site, but I think I might have visited this a long time ago. But yeah, freaking, some people have been talking to me about stuff going on in the book and the movie, and the fact is, like, I started reading the book again, and that's what I'm looking for. It got me thinking, we are dangerously close to 1984 in the real world. So there's your, this is what the three major powers look like: Oceania, Blue, Eurasia, and East Asia. And I kind of figured, just from the context and the point of view of the main character of the book, but as it explains here, and a lot of this stuff is direct from the author, George Orwell. They simply copied it down. Basically, all three of these have basically the same system of government, but because the people have so little contact with the other nations, which is to say just about none, they don't have any idea what kind of government the other two nations have. So I decided I wanted to actually create a map. And in the blue, I put down all the NATO member nations. So there's 28 of them in all. You got the US, Canada, UK, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, like all those little countries in there, Norway, Poland, can't forget about Poland. And I wasn't sure exactly what to put as the antithesis of NATO. NATO being, of course, the Western powers, as we know them. At first I was thinking about doing BRICS as the opposing superpower, but that's not entirely accurate, because BRICS is more of an economic alliance and NATO is a military alliance. I wanted to go with a military alliance to more correctly display the context of today's geopolitical climate. You know, who's against who. And I thought about it for a bit, and I was leaning towards starting with China, Russia, and Iran right off the bat, but I was thinking, well, that's too simple, and they're not part of, like, they are part of BRICS, except for Iran, but they're not part of a technically organized alliance. It's just all three of them are saying, okay, let's help each other out. I don't know, as far as I know, I couldn't find any news items on it or anything like that. So one thing I thought about, though, was I was going to go with the locations of Al-Qaeda, which, ironically enough, just about mirrors, check it out. I was going for, like, hardline Islamic organizations, but this is this is one of the maps of where Islam is predominant. So pretty much just about mirrors where Al-Qaeda is present as well. Except they don't have Kazakhstan or Western Africa. Let's see if I can find the other one out. was another pretty complete map, I think. Where was it? Well, that one looked pretty good, but no, there was a world religion map. But that's the thing, because using Al-Qaeda is incomplete because Al-Qaeda is only one of the major quote-unquote terrorist networks out there. Honestly, and like half the time they're being used as a scapegoat in order to further Western agendas. You know, we see that all the time. This isn't what I was looking for, but close enough. Just throwing all of the nations of Islam out there as the opposition is kind of ridiculous too, because a lot of these countries absolutely hate each other even though they all share the same religion. So that's kind of erroneous as well. I didn't want to go with just Al-Qaeda or just the Muslim Brotherhood or just Russia, China, and Iran. Like they're all interconnected, and it's kind of crazy how that works out because now you see the U.S. working with Al-Qaeda in Syria. So, like, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? That, you know, I always figured freaking Al-Qaeda was simply there to get burned. But this is what I have so far, and I think I can put most of the world powers into some sort of a perspective here. Like, I think I might break it down instead of going with NATO. Well, I guess I'll go with NATO because the EU and the US pretty much go hand in hand. You know, I want to find out who Russia is working with, who China is working with, who Iran is working with. Iran is working with some of these countries around here, but not all of them. Iran has also apparently had ties with North Korea as well. See, that's the thing too. America's still helping out South Korea. Like, I don't want to color that in blue because it's not a NATO country. So I'm wondering about where I should break this down to. Like, even right here, just between these three countries, in terms of population, I mean, between population and freaking armaments and capability, you've got pretty much equal forces right off the bat. And now if you want to throw in the proxy wars of Islam, or Islamic nations, I should say, specifically, using Al-Qaeda as a tool one way or the other, let's throw that in there. Let's make Al-Qaeda green. Let's see what we do with that. And I could always change this around as need be. Green. So, Somalia, Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt, Libya. Okay, let's see if I can remember all that. Tunisia, DCA. Alright. So Al-Qaeda is working with pretty much all of those. Oops, I shouldn't have filled that in. Doesn't matter. It's such a small area, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in it anyway. Okay. Let's go here. Boom. And Yemen, Kuwait, Iraq, Syria. I'm going to leave Syria alone, but Yemen, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, I'm going to throw them in Qatar. I'm going to leave Syria and Turkey alone. Turkey is officially part of NATO. Yemen. Whoops. Apparently not in the UAE. So I'll leave that there. Alright, but we also have them in Pakistan, going into China, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan. So, where's that? Is that Pakistan? And Afghanistan, Tajikistan. Uzbekistan. What's that up there? Alright, so now we've got blue is NATO, red is the Russia, China, and Iran alliance, although Iran is apparently also an area where Al-Qaeda operates. You know, that's secondary because Iran is a superpower. It's a major power here. And it really is a superpower. Like freaking America, like Iran is small and everything geographically, and its population isn't all that big either. But it's going to be a huge pain in the ass for America when the shit hits the fan regarding the oil. Now, the reason why I didn't touch Syria there is because that is, right now, Syria is the flashpoint. Al-Qaeda is operating there, but it is the site of a current, no shit, war. What color should I use? Well, what do we get when we mix green and red? Red plus green is... Not sure. Let's go with purple here. Make Syria purple. Why? Because freaking it remains to be seen who wins out on that. But like I've been saying, that's the flashpoint when it comes to geopolitical, global, military, all that stuff. So as you can see, I took it out already. Well, you guys already saw where, you know, Oceania was North and South America, plus Australia, plus Southern Africa, and the UK. Eurasia was Russia, and this area in here, and then East Asia was there. But you can kind of see how the balance kind of mirrors that nowadays, and it's a lot more subtle than it is in the book. I highly recommend reading 1984. Anybody who hasn't yet, the more you read it, the more you're going to realize how closely today's Western society mirrors INGSOC, Big Brother. You know, don't be fooled by the fact that we're still technically a constitutional republic. You know, if you haven't already gotten to this conclusion yet, try for a moment to imagine that both sides of the political spectrum are both working for the same agenda, working for the corporations. Alright? The corporations are Big Brother this time around. But yes, the US government is a corporation as well. So the corporations in this case are Big Brother. And Big Brother is watching you. But like, seriously, even though we have access to YouTube, which obviously this is what you're using to see this video, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. How often does somebody from here in the United States communicate with somebody over here, or over here, or over here, to any meaningful extent, to where you could absolutely, totally understand how their government works? What level of propaganda is being used against the people, the population, what level of education do they have, how aware are they of their government's doings. There's not a whole lot of dialogue between countries in the world, even though we're all sorts of globalized and stuff now. Here's another interesting thing. No, that's not what I want. Damn it, where's that? Oh, there we go. Have you guys seen this yet? What? It's the Illuminati countdown clock. And it's counting down until the 9th of September. So obviously we saw that yesterday nothing happened during the closing ceremony of the Olympics. And don't get me wrong, again, just like on the earlier 2 dates, I am very happy about that. I'm very happy to not see some sort of a massive attack being blamed on terrorists or Iran. Although I will say this, just from the feed that I was receiving earlier, because I was watching and trying to keep an eye on the up to date as it happens, like the different parts of the ceremony. The music that they picked out for is just fucking phenomenal. Like, look at the titles of the songs even, and if you feel like listening to them, fine, whatever. But mainly, like, look at the titles of the songs they picked for the closing ceremony of the Olympics, and you'll see it's just like that lone UFO that we saw at the opening ceremony. This is the order is having a laugh at our expense. They're saying, "Ha, you guys look like fools because you were wrong, but here's a little something, something." I'm serious. Like, there was one song called like "We Own the World" or "We Are the World." I don't know what the lyrics were, but between that and there was another one like "Dynamite." There's just a whole bunch of different songs that kind of added up to like fucking terrorist attack, if you were of the mind to interpret it that way. But I stumbled upon this. The Grox does like a 40-minute breakdown of this in the European site. It counts down until the 9th of September, which is the closing day of the Paralympics. And I saw a video on YouTube that came out on the 1st of August referring to the 9th as a possible date as well. So I don't know how many people are going to actually look at that, but it's one possibility. Also, there is apparently a major soccer game going on the 9th as well, if you'll recall that Chinese commercial where it shows like an absolute war going on while they're playing soccer. So that's just something else that you can look at. And yeah, I think that's all I got for you right now. If you have any ideas on how else I might fill out this map and give an accurate portrayal of the balance of the military and the balance of nations and their hostilities today. I'm all ears. So pretty much our major players are, we've got NATO, we've got communist nations, or socialist nations, along with Iran, and then we've got the Islamists, the jihadist, terrorist networks. I'm going to look up other major terrorist networks as well and see where they overlap or where they might be different. And then there in the purple, that's our flashpoint, Syria. Damascus. That's one thing too. Every day in the news, I'm looking at news about Syria, and I'm wondering if there's an attack, why not go for Damascus? If you think about it, the order, obviously all their assets are in the Western world. So a false flag on London or the United States might not be so great. But Syria is right next door to Iran, as well as right next door to Israel. So if America wanted to burn Israel, or if America wanted to actually get into the shit with Iran, they're right next door. They're easy to blame. So if friggin' Damascus got blown up by a friggin' dirty nuke, let's say 100,000 people died, well, the majority of them would not be American or Western citizens. All right, so they wouldn't have to worry about the NATO countries getting whacked with radiation, necessarily where they wouldn't want it. Syria, huge focal point for the world. Everybody's watching to see what happens. Even though in the grand scheme of things, this little struggle, the only reason it's making major headlines is because of the political connections between Assad and Iran and its location. I think there's oil involved as well, so of course America wants to get involved. But the order would be able to afford to burn a third-party country like Syria, especially if it's starting to look like the rebels are flagging and they're not being able to win. I'm sure everybody's already seen the video of the rebels throwing apparently postal workers or somebody off the roof of the building. That was pretty sick, disgusting. So things aren't looking too good for the side that America decided to support. They might just sacrifice it in the name of progress. That's it. That's literally right now, that's all I have for you. This is my main project for now. I don't know why I want to do it. It's just maps always interested me, and I wanted to see exactly what the lay of the land was nowadays. That's the best I could gather so far. Alright, y'all stay safe now. Peace.